All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a video explaining how to add a navigation bar or a nav bar to your project. This is useful for whenever your projects have more than one index on them and you need to incorporate that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to W3 Schools. Again, this is a super useful website. They've got a lot of good information for all areas of computer science. So I highly recommend that you play around with it to kind of look through some things and some stuff that you want to add to your projects. We're going to go to the Learn CSS section right now, and we're going to scroll down over here on the left-hand side. You'll notice as you're scrolling through, you'll see a lot of familiar things. I literally pull notes from this site. Like I said, it's really good. We're going to click on CSS navigation bar, and there's two different types of navigation bar. There's vertical, and then there's horizontal. What we're going to use today for our walkthrough is going to be a horizontal nav bar, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And the one that I'm really going to focus on, there's a couple different varieties in here, but I just want to show you basically how W3 Schools work, how easy it is to make to use these things in your project as long as you know what it is, what you're looking at. I'm going to scroll down until I get to the active current navigation link. What this is going to do is as I click on these different pages, this green bar will move across to show you which page I'm actively on, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Try It Yourself, and it takes me to like a split screen version. Basically, it looks like a glitch project, okay? On the right-hand side, we've got this. So the first thing I'm going to do is they've got everything inside of their quote-unquote index. That's over here on the left-hand side. But you'll notice they've got a style tag here. That stuff, everything below that, everything between that style tag and the closing style tag is stuff that should go on your CSS. So I'm just going to copy and paste everything down until where it says .active in this closing curly bracelets at the end. Notice that there's a closing style tag there. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to my project. I should have deleted this. And I'm going to add that stuff in there, okay? So that's the first thing you need to do. I'm going to pause real quick because I need to add something. All right, so I've added my indexes. I didn't have that ready to go when we first started the video. So I've added my indexes. So now I've got 4 separate indexes here that I need to create a nav bar for, okay? I still have all of my styling that I just copied from my nav bar. And then I've also got some additional stuff down here. These are just class names that I have for the different body tags so that you see when I click on each page that it's changing its color, okay? Now I go back to the editor. I now need to copy this unordered list that they have here, okay? So all nav bars are set up as unordered lists. So you go ahead and copy that. You're going to plug it into your project, okay? You can either type it in or you can copy and paste, however you want to do it. It's perfectly fine. Just know it's an unordered list, okay? Do this. Undo. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. But you'll notice that this is an unordered list. It has 4 list elements. Inside the list elements, they all have a link. So this LI tag stands for list. Those are list elements. This is obviously a link tag to right here. And then this is your UL tag, okay? Whenever you are on W3 Schools, they always use like hashtag home or hashtag news as a placeholder. That's where you're going to put in the URLs for your indexes instead, okay? You want to get rid of the hashtag. You don't want to leave that in there. And I'll show you that in a second. So we're actually going to go ahead and set it up. So this is going to be our home page. So this is index.html. You then go down to the news. We're just going to get rid of that. This is now index2.html. Index3.html. Then index4.html. Make sure you're spelling everything correctly. I'm not going to worry about the home, news, contact, and about. You can change whatever that says right here. So now when I click on that page, when I click on the news link, it takes me to page 2, okay, because that's index 2. I don't have a nav bar on that page, so it's not going to take me back. Contact page is now going to page 3, and then the about page is taking me to page 4, okay? We're not done yet. We don't want to leave it there, okay? So this home page is active, so that's why it's got the class name called active. We're going to get to that in a second. But we don't want to leave this like this because you're going to have other unordered lists in your project. And because we've got unordered list styling done on our CSS for our nav bar, every single list that you do after that is going to follow these rules unless we separate our nav bar, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do to separate it is we're going to go to our UL tag at line whatever you put it at. Mine's at line 20, but that opening UL tag to identify that we're going to use an unordered list, I got to give it a class name. So I'm going to go class equals, and I'm just going to call this one NavBar, okay? I'm now going to go to my LI tag. I'm going to give this a class name equals nav list, and I'm actually going to give this same class to each of the list elements, okay? So right now I've only got 4 list elements. I've only got 4 links. If you have more links, you just need to add more list elements. If you have fewer links, you just get rid of some of the list elements, okay? So I've given the same class name to each of those LI elements, okay? So they're all called nav list. It's inside my LI tag. Only my first active link on my homepage has the class active. We'll see that in a second, okay? I'm now going to go to my style sheet. On my style sheet, I'm going to now start focusing on the selectors that I copied and pasted for my navbar, okay? So this UL tag is referencing this whole block element right here. So if I go full screen so you can see it, the UL tag is all of this going across the screen, this black bar with this information inside of it, okay? If we wanted to change the background color of that, what you would do is you need to change the background color of the UL tag. So say I don't want it to be black anymore, I want it to be red. I can change my background color there, okay? And now I have a red navigation bar as opposed to a black one, okay? I'm gonna leave it as black for now, but I'm just showing you like where you can change your content. You're not gonna mess anything with the LI for your floats. The LIA stands for list links. So LI stands for list, the A stands for your link tags. This is where you can change your font family. So you can add a font family to this. If you want to change your font color, you can do that. So instead of white, let's do gold. And you'll notice that the font color on the right-hand side changes. So that's how you can change. So that's how you can change your font color for the navigation bar, okay? And again, like I said, you can change the font families you're using. So if you want to use a Google font inside here, that's fine. You just go down here, you do font-family, and then include whatever it is font that you're going to do. If you want to change the size of your font, this is how you do that as well. So you would do font-size. I want my navbar options to be larger. So I would do like 36px, okay? That's going to increase the size of the font in my navbar, okay? Makes it a little bit more visible, makes it easier to see. This is critical for that, okay? I'm going to leave that as is for now. I'm just going to leave that font size in there. This next one, this LI hover, this stands for list and then A hover. So this is what happens when I hover over my links, okay? This is going to change the background color. Let me switch this back to, let's do blue so you can see this better. It's only going to work on this one page. So right now, this list A hover, when I hover over my links, the links are going to change color. See how they're changing black? Because I'm hovering over them. That's what this is doing. So if I want to change that color, I would just change this, okay? And then active background color, that's what this is. So this is green because this link has a class name called active. And then I styled that link with the class name on my style sheet with that, and it's got to have a green background color, okay? But what we need to do is we need to change these selectors to match up the class name that we just gave them on our index, okay? So instead of doing UL, we're now going to change that to .navbar, okay? Because that's the list, that's the class name we gave the UL tag on our style sheet. Instead of doing LI tag, we're now going to call it .navlist because we gave it a class name of navlist. And then anywhere else you see LI, you're going to change it to .navlist. You're going to leave the A tag there for this one. So where it says LIA, we're going to leave the A tag, but we're going to get rid of the LI and change it to .navlist. Same thing for .navlist A hover down here, okay? If you do not do this step and you have an unordered list later on in your project, that unordered list, say you had an unordered list of your favorite food, that unordered list of favorite food is going to look like a nav bar because it's following the rules that you have here. So that's why you have to give your nav bar a class name. You have to give all the LI elements a class name, okay? Once you set this up on your first page, all you need to do is simply copy and paste it to the other indexes. So now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to index 2, and I'm going to paste it here, okay? Your navbar should be in the same location. The format's a little bit different. Whenever we copy and paste, it doesn't necessarily translate as well. But the only thing that I'm changing now is instead of the first link having the class name called active, I'm going to add that to my second link because I'm on the second index on the left-hand side. I'm on the second index. So I want to make sure that when I'm on that page, that link is highlighted as green, okay? Active. And now when I click on news, news now becomes the active link. It's no longer home, because if you see, whoops. So home is the active link on this first page. I'm now on page 2. So I want that to be the active link. And then I just repeat that step for the other 2 indexes, okay? I'm not going to do the class. I'm not going to move the class for each of the indexes. But basically, you need to move the class active from the second index down to the third index and delete it from here. And then repeat that process again for the fourth index. Now you have a NavBar on each of the pages that I can navigate through. Go full screen. So now I'm on my news page, contact. Notice how on my contact page, I'm on page 3, but since I didn't change the class active to my third link, that's why news is still highlighted as the active link. And then the same thing for the fourth index, okay? So that's how you add a simple nav bar to your projects. It should be relatively simple. Like I said, as long as W3 Schools makes it pretty easy, as long as you know what you're looking at in terms of tags.